Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pizza Motorcast. This is your host, Dave. I got on the line special guest Tim Cullinan, the Irish Car Bomb Nostalgia Nitro front end dragster. How's it going, Tim?
Doing good, Dave. Merry Christmas to everybody out there.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody. Now, Tim, first question I got for you: How did you get involved in drag racing? How long ago, and how did you get into it?
Oh, wow, that's a good question, Dave. Going back to the 1970s when I was a teenager growing up in Chicago, there's a famous radio station, WLS, and they used to advertise Sunday
Smoke,
at US 30.
Yep.
And wow, I was living on the north side of Chicago back then, and my uncle lived right by White Sox Park, and I went over there, and I asked my uncle, hey, can we go to one of these racing things? He's like, okay, I'll take you. That's probably like 76, 77, we went to US 30, and it was the snake versus the mongoose, and, that's, ever since then, I got hooked on it. And the Ace was there, and the Chi-Town, and then Doc Holliday, Frank Oglesby was there, the Greek was there. And ever since then, I just kept following it. And then by 1980, I started racing a Chevy Nova, and bounced around from 30, Great Lakes Dragaway, went to Oswego once, and then kind of got into that click, and then early 83, 84, US 30 closed, Oswego closed, but I kept going at it.
Yeah, my dad started taking me to the US 30 and Great Lakes Dragway when I was like 4 or 5 years old when he started dragging me to both of those tracks.
Yeah, and once you get that nitro bug, it's nitro racing's different. Once you get it in your system, it's just a hard thing to explain, but you get hooked on it. It's like it never leaves you. So.
Oh, especially back then, when they wonder it was like a big field of nitro funny cars. Like you see the whole staging lane full of funny cars with the bodies up.
Yeah, going back to the 70s, they used to advertise, especially on the West Coast, like 64 funny cars, at a match race. And US 30 sometimes would have like 32 cars at a match race. And, it was just all good times, and it kind of started me on the nitromethane thing.
Yeah, and then, Broadway Bob brought in some good events with a lot of nitro.
Broadway Bob was probably the best promoter that ever lived. You just can't beat Broadway. He knew how to put on a race. He knew who to get in. He knew how to get people in the stands. He entertained them. And great shows at Great Lakes. The Olympics at drag racing was one of the best races ever. He got Garlits to go there. He got everybody to go there. Great Lakes Dragaway back in the 80s, probably where I spent most of my youth, from 1980 to 1990.
Yeah, I would love to see more nitro come up the Great Lakes Dragway.
Yeah, well, we're working with the guys up there, trying to get a nitro show going. But the main thing I've been working on lately is Extreme Top Fuel. It's kind of a new association here in the Midwest that Jimmy Young and brought me involved with it, and we're trying to get a Midwest thing going with the front engine top fuel cars, because we believe we can put on a really good show with these cars and bring nitro racing back in this era, but bringing them back to like a slingshot era. So kind of cool.
Yeah, I know Jimmy got that event at Cordova, which you guys going there.
Yep, our first race is June 1st at Cordova. It's an extreme race. It's a one-day deal. We're going to do a Chicago-style race, which basically the heavy car is going to run 2 runs, and then the fastest 2 come back for a final. And we're going to have a winner. It's not going to be just a match race. We're going to have somebody that's going to win, and it's going to be a qualifying race, too.
Yeah, because you like Great Lakes Dragway, usually it's just you and Jimmy, and Diamond Dave, and Jason Greenwood. That's about it, right?
Right, yeah. Usually us 4 go up there and try to put a show on, either Memorial Day weekend or Labor Day weekend.
Yep. Yeah, I was up there the September 22nd for the rained out date when you did one pass up there.
Yeah, I did a couple 8-mile passes up there, just shaking the car down. We were scheduled to go to Tulsa the week before for the NHRA Heritage Race, but it got rained out, and then that race was a rain date for the Labor Day race, so it kind of all worked out.
Yeah. Jason got to go up against Baz Young.
Yeah, well, getting September up there in Great Lakes, the weather wasn't that great. It was getting down, I believe, in the low 40s at night, so the track kind of went away a little bit on it, so.
And now Baz Young's moving back to Australia, so we're losing him for a Nostalgia Nitro funny car, so we only got Doc Holliday.
Yeah, we're losing a little funny cars, but there's about 4 new cars being built in the Midwest there for Nostalgia Top Fuel. So, that's kind of exciting. There's like 4 or 5 cars being built, and they should be out this year. The Bowens are coming out with a slingshot. There's a guy in Wisconsin, Mike Taylor here from Chicago is coming out, and yeah, I mean, we had a pretty good year last year. We didn't light it up too many times.
Yeah. So what year did you first start driving Nitro?
Well, back in the mid '80s, I built a Kawasaki. Super gas bike, which was a 1020 index back then. That was probably like an 84. Then I moved up to an 860 class top gas. And then in like 1989, I built an alcohol funny bike, which was blown and injected. So I played around with motorcycles mostly in the 90s. And then my whole life, I always wanted to run a nitro car. And for some reason, back I think in the late 90s, I was reading National Dragster. The guy had an ad in the back of the paper that said, "Now is the time to go top fuel racing." And it was a guy on the East Coast. And I gave him a call, and he had a top fuel Dragster, trailer, everything for sale. That was probably right around 2000. So out of the blue, I flew to New York, and I bought his whole operation, and that's when it started.
And the rest is history, huh?
Yeah. Got the car together, just kind of hired a couple different people over the years. Paul Smith and his 2 sons helped me out at the beginning, got the car dialed in. And, we showed up at our first race at Martin, Michigan, I believe in 02. And we qualified like 4th or 5th. So that was pretty exciting back then. That was an IHRA race. So I pretty much followed the IHRA circuit for a couple of years after that.
So what's the quickest ET you've had with the Irish car bomb?
The Irish car bomb has gone 582, and the highest mile an hour we got it, I believe, is 249. We're really close to hitting that 250 mark. The front engine car is a little different. Took while, especially when I put a late model Hemi in there. Since nobody runs a late model Hemi in these cars, it just took a little while to get it tuned in. But we've been running 580s pretty consistent this year. And doing a lot of work at the shop right now. We got 3 engine combinations coming out for this year. Paul Romine just kind of retired this year, so I went by his shop and bought a lot of his clutch stuff, different discs, different compounds, different disc manufacturers. So I'm playing around in the bell housing there. Plus, I got a new blower combination. I work with SSI and a fuel combination. So we're thinking the car bomb should run some 560s this year.
So how many events did you run this year?
2019, we already got 6 races booked.
No, I mean for 2018, I mean, how many did you make this year?
Oh, in 18,
yeah.
We did 5 really. The Tulsa race got rained out, so. But 2019, we got 6 races booked. That's quite a bit for us right now, and we might take on one more race, and that's about it.
Now, when you take the Irish Car Bomb out there, Tim, how many crew members do you have, and who are all your crew members?
Crew members, I usually have a 5-man crew plus myself. 2 top end guys, a bottom end guy, clutch guy, and then we have a floater guy, that takes care of all the cleanup and stuff. I usually try to stay in the bell housing myself because that's usually where the magic happens. So, got a lot of new combinations, new clutch levers I've been having machined up right now to try to see if we can get these cars need to just accelerate a little earlier. And that's my main goal this year, to get the 60-foot times down to about like in the 990 range.
So now earlier you mentioned Snake and Mongoose and Garlits. Were those like some of your main influences?
Well, yeah, when I seen them guys, they influenced me, but then a buddy of mine introduced me to Chris Karamessinas back in the late 70s. The Greek's been a big influence on me. He's, what can you say about the guy? He's still out there running Top Fuel. I believe he's about 90 years old. He's had without the Greek, Garlits, Coletta, all them guys who experimented with nitromethane in the 50s. Without them guys, the sport wouldn't be where it is today.
Shirley Chacham O'Downey.
Yeah, I met Shirley. Actually, Shirley retired, I believe, in 2003. And when she retired, I bought her truck and trailer at the end of the season. And then in 2004, when I started, 2004 was my strongest year. I ran the whole IHRA Top Fuel circuit, which was 12 races. And we ran 3 NHRA races that year, which was a total of 15 races. And at the final race going into Rockingham, myself and Bobby Lagana were tied for 3rd place. And then the first run of the evening, the car got out of groove. I pedaled it, and it went really out of control, and it went on top of the wall and totaled the whole car out. So I wound up number 5 in 2004 in Top Fuel.
Now, this year, did you go out to Famoso?
Yes, I went to the March meet in March of 18. Not a good time there for California. California, the weather in Chicago was better than California. It was cold, rainy. They only gave us one qualifier, and I believe it was like in the low 40s. So that was kind of a disappointing time to drive all that way out there. But, you know, Bakersfield could be in the future for us.
Yeah, everyone keeps telling me I need to get out there at least one time and experience Bakersfield.
Oh yeah, I mean I've been out there as a spectator and I've raced there at one time, and I believe the hot rod reunion might be a better time or a better time of the year for weather to be out there and race, which is in October.
So now, Tim, let me ask you this question. What was the experience like for the first time, you know, getting in behind the wheel of a nitro car and going down the track?
Was it first experience on that?
Yeah, how was your first nitro method experience?
Well, it was at US 66 in Joliet. I brought my car there. We entered that race, actually, because my crew chief, Mike Smith, drove the car just to make a short squirt for a qualifying run, and then they had to test there on Monday. That was the first time I ever got behind the wheel of a nitro car. And I remember doing the burnout, you know, backing up, and then when I first hit that throttle, it was like night and day. It's just something that's very hard to explain. But when you hit that throttle, and back then they were probably making 5,000 horsepower, and that, if you really got to be prepared for it, because that threw me back in the seat. My goal was just to make it to the 330, and I think I just barely made it there. My eyes were wide open.
So now currently, Tim, do you have any sponsors for your dragster?
The Irish Car Bomb, no, just my own company has been kind of funding my racing career here for quite a little while. So, besides associate sponsors for the races, no, I pretty much fund it myself.
So now, what goes in the preparation to get that dragster ready for a weekend of drag racing?
Well, just because it's a nostalgic car, there's almost about the same amount of work to be done as a top fuel car. Engines come apart, all the racks, pistons, all the rods got to be sized, checked. Crank has to be looked at for cracks. And a crank in these cars, we pull them out maybe after 12, 15 rounds, get a Magnaflux. Heads come apart, all the valves get trued up, ground. Probably after every 6 rounds, I strip the blowers on the car. So the maintenance between races is pretty intense.
Now, what are some of your favorite tracks to run on?
Favorite tracks? Oh my God, I got so many of them. Well, surface-wise, I mean, Joliet's always our favorite. Then, of course, we got a race with Extreme this year, August 9th and 10th at Martin, Michigan. And Martin's just a great facility, great racetrack. And when we ran at Tulsa 2 years ago, that's a very tight racetrack, too. So they're all good racetracks for track reasons, but for fun reasons, can't beat Great Lakes or Cordova. They're just, they've been there so long, the history, the people, that's what makes it really happen at
Yeah, another event that I would love to see come to Great Lakes Dragway would be the Funny Car Chaos event. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, Funny Car Chaos is coming up pretty heavy right now. They're booking in a lot, but they book in an 8 mile show.
Right.
I think they need to really start to try to get a quarter-mile show going. Been working with Jimmy. It'd be nice if we can do one of our extreme top fuel events at Great Lakes Dragway. I believe that would be a really good show at that track, and it would bring in a lot of people from Milwaukee, Chicago, and like what we're running at Cordova and Martin, and we're trying to make it affordable for like $20 a person. So it's a really good show for the price they're going to get.
Well, yeah, definitely. I'm sure Great Lakes Drive, we got a lot of people starving to see a lot of nitro.
Yeah, I think the spectators at Great Lakes been robbed for a little while. I know the owners they had a little issue a couple of years ago, and they got a little gun shy on booking a lot of things in. But like you say, it'll take time to bring it back. And like Broadway Bob always booked in nitro cars because nitro cars are the show. People come to see them. Great Lakes Dragway is in a perfect position right between Chicago, Milwaukee, huge markets. They can fill them stands like nothing.
I agree with you 100% on that one, Tim. I love like you guys and Baz Young and Doc Holliday, but you can't. It's like watching a repeat movie over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I need to see some different faces. Yeah. So where do you get all your fire safety equipment from, Timmy?
I'm pretty tight with Simpson. Alan Bridges at Simpson. I've been dealing with him for years. They got the lightest weight suits out there. Simpson's is like the original place to buy your fire equipment from. A lot of new people coming in the market, but I pretty much stick with Simpson.
Now, throughout your drag racing career so far, what milestones have you reached?
Well, my first milestone back, I think the first race I went to, if you're going back, wow, I think it was 01. Everybody back then wanted to make a 4-second pass and 300 miles an hour. So, and the first race I ever entered in IHRA was at Martin, Michigan. And I did run a 4.99 at that race, which is kind of cool. First race, first 4-second pass. And then my first 300-mile-an-hour pass, I believe, was 2003 at Norwalk, Ohio, which is another great track to race at. There was a good milestone right there. And then I believe when we ran the whole circuit in 04 up in Toronto, I had the mile-an-hour record up there for 318 miles an hour in Toronto, and that was quite a milestone at the time.
All right, so now, Tim, after all these years of drag racing, what keeps you passionate about drag racing?
Passionate, wow. Once it gets in your bloodstream, it's hard to get out. But the position I'm in right now with the Irish Car Bomb, it's kind of a father-son thing. And being the owner, driver, and tuner, that's the position I want to be in right now. I call the shots. I experiment. I engineer different things on the car. I don't have a crew chief. So it's kind of more laid back in the nostalgia thing, but there's so much work, and it's so competitive out there because Nostalgia Top Fuel is such a unique class that you can go to a big show, NHRA race, and look in the staging lanes, and every car pretty much has the same body, the same wings, same injector, same fuel pump. But when you go to a nostalgia race in Top Fuel, every car is different. And that's what really intrigued me about this class. Because, there's no two front wings the same. There's no two side canards the same. They're just a very unique class. And you can run your fuel system so many different ways, although you're limited to a 20-gallon pump. But it's just very intrigued about the engineering and the tuning aspect of it. That's what really keeps me going.
So, how was the experience driving the Dragster plastic fuel altered?
Oh, Tom's car. I've been a substitute driver on Tom's car for years. I think in '05, when I built a brand new Dragster in '05, and they changed the chassis rule. So I parked that car, and I drove Tom's car, I believe, in '06, '07. And we had a lot of success back then, especially going to fuel altered events and stuff. And Tom calls me every now and then. I think 2 years ago he called me and said, "Hey, can you drive my car for this year?" And it's a little difficult having your own car with dates and tuning and driving, but it's a Dragster Classic. What are you going to say? I've drove that car at the World Series. We went out to Boise, Idaho with that car years ago. Spanked everybody out there at the Altered Nationals and everything. So, yeah, I enjoy doing it. I just wish I had more time to donate and do a full-time gig on it. But my main focus is the Irish Car Bomb.
Yeah, it's got to be cool to have driving with those big header flames going.
Yeah, that car gets some 8-foot header flames going. I believe the last time I drove her was at I drove it at Great Lakes Dragway Labor Day weekend. It was the last 2 years ago, or 17, I believe. And it's kind of interesting the last pass because the header fell apart. And it was dragging the ground really hard, and sparks were flying, and it was starting to go sideways. I didn't know what happened. So, but I think we were racing the Nitro Madness car, and I beat him. And it came around the bend, and that header just fell apart. And it's still hanging at the bar over there at Great Lakes Dragway. We all signed it and stuff. So it's hanging off the rafters there at that little bar at Great Lakes. So I'll probably be there for life, which is kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, it was 2017 when you went against Radar.
Right.
So, throughout your drag racing career, have you had any accidents or close calls at all?
Well, the worst one was in '04 at Rockingham when we were going into the final race of the year. Like I said earlier, I was tied in third place with Bobby Lagana for the number 3 plate. And that car, it hit pretty hard. I was on top of the concrete wall, and it cracked my tailbone on that pass. So that hurt a little bit. Couple scrapes with the walls here and there. Actually, earlier this year, I put the car bomb into the wall at Joliet. Oil got under the tires, scraped the wall. And had a couple bike accidents back in the early 80s and stuff. But other than that, it's safety equipment worked on everything, and no problems.
Oh, knock on wood. No more accidents.
No, you gotta block that out of your head. You just never know when you stab that gas, but you just gotta be very confident in your equipment and your ability to drive and get through it.
Yep. So you ready for a few fun questions here now?
Shoot.
You have any hobbies outside of drag racing?
Hobbies outside of drag racing? I don't know. Is there any?
Yeah, like fishing, hunting, whatever.
Good God, no. I hate golf. I don't know why anybody would chase a white ball around, but no, I don't do too much. I own my own business here in Chicago that keeps me pretty busy, and I just tinker in my race shop. I got a couple interesting projects going on. I'm building a frame right now. I'm doing a frame up chopper, and I'm gonna do it a little different, like a BSA base. And then I got another chopper going with. I'm gonna put a Pro Charger on an inline 4 Kawasaki and turn the head backwards. So, every now in summertime I get out on my Harley and hit the road. But other than that, hobby-wise, not a lot. I just like tinkering.
All right. So now, do you have any pre-race rituals or superstitions at all?
Superstitions? No. Not at all.
No pre-race rituals.
No, not really. I say a prayer. That's about it.
All right. So now, in the Nostalgia Dragster Top Fuel thing, do you have a greatest competitor, or they're all equally competitive to you?
Well, there's a lot of good running cars out there. I don't know, probably Jimmy Young. I'm going to give him a run for his money this year. Even though we're doing this association together, but like we said, there's going to be a winner at the end of the night, And as long as it's not him and it's me, that's the way it's going to go.
Yeah. So now, have you won a lot of trophies throughout your career?
Oh, yeah. I got trophies, all kinds of plaques and stuff over the years of racing, yes.
Okay. Now, Tim, if you were able to do time traveling and go backwards in time, would you do anything differently with the drag racing career?
Oh, I probably would have tried to get in nitro racing earlier. Everything happens for a reason, I believe. But, I was pushing, I was in my late 30s, and I said, if I'm going to run a nitro car, I got to start doing this now. And I pursued it. It was my dream, and I just kept going at it no matter what. I worked hard at it, worked hard at my job, and spent money, got money. I had some people giving me a little money with the big show car that helped when business was good. And other than that, no. I have no regrets or wish I would have done anything different.
All right. Now, can you think of one most embarrassing moment you've had on the track?
Oh, my God, there's a lot of them.
Which one?
Biggest embarrassing moment. Oh.
Which one stands out the most to you?
Well, I didn't run the tree down backing up. I think I came close a few times. When the whole crowd's going, go left. I think that was a drastic plastic, but one of the worst was I was at the U.S. Nationals, and I don't know who I was running, but the other car staged, and I think it was Melanie Troxel I was running. She was running top fuel back then. She's got the top light on, and I'm just sitting there, and I did not see the signal from my crew chief. And then the starter gets in my face like, what are you doing? Are you going to stage this car or what? To me, that was embarrassing being in Indy at the U.S. Nationals at that time, But that's probably it, really. I try to be very gentlemanlike when we stage cars.
Right. All right, a couple more questions, Tim. What's your favorite food to eat?
Favorite food? Oh, wow. Well, I would have to say, being in Chicago all my life, there's nothing like a good Midwest beef steak dinner, bone and ribeye, prime rib. We just had the Irish Carb Bomb Christmas party last Saturday, and I had it at a steakhouse called Jameson's, and they got killer prime ribs, so I would say that would be it.
All right, favorite beverage?
Favorite beverage? Ooh, that would probably be, it would be a nice bottle of red Cabernet, and there's a brand out there called Camus, Caymus, and the only reason I came into Camus was probably, I'd say 10, 12 years ago. I was hanging out with Austin Coyle, which I'm sure everybody knows who that is.
Oh, yeah.
And he turned me on to some really good red wines because he, being an original Chicago guy, and then he moved out to California. And so I went out to dinner with him every time I went out to California. And when I went to his house, he has this huge winery there. And it has, like, the best red cabs you ever had. So I would say it's definitely a good red wine.
All right, now, your favorite music's probably classic rock, right?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Because I did see you went to see Michael Schenker.
Yes, I did. Oh, yeah, I grew up in that era. UFO, the Stones. Actually, Bob Seger just played here in Chicago last Friday. I didn't find out till the day of, but definitely classic rock, Dave.
Yeah, I love the Michael Schenker group. Then when Michael Schenker was with the Scorpions back then, always a great guitarist.
Yes, he is.
Now, what would you consider to be the fondest memory of your drag racing career, Tim?
Oh, the fondest memory? Let me think about that one. Well, I won a couple races, probably when I won Memphis in '94. I won, it was in the funny bike class back then. And I won Memphis in '94, and I won Bowling Green in '94. That's going back to International Drag Bike Association. Yeah, there were a couple good wins right there. And I went to the final round in, I believe, Grand Bend, Ontario, up in Canada. And even though I red lit in the final, it was me and Clay Milliken, and I beat him, but I red lit. But I don't know if that's a good memory or a bad memory, but that one always sticks in my mind.
All right, now, what's the best way if people are listening to this interview right now and they want to find out where you're gonna be at? What's the best way for them to find the events?
I appreciate it if they like it. We're going to put our 6-race schedule up there. And we got the Extreme Top Fuel Facebook page, too. So that'd be the best way to track us through social media.
All right, sounds good. Well, Tim, I want to thank you very much for taking time to do this interview. And you have any final words or thank yous to give out to anybody, maybe?
Well, I want to thank everybody who's following us so far and giving us support. And just really appreciate whoever can go out to these races and come watch us, especially with the Extreme Top Fuel. We're new. I believe we can put on one of the greatest shows there is out there, being a nitro burning top fuel car. Best bang for your buck, and I appreciate everybody. And Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
All right. Well, thanks again for your time for doing an interview, Tim.
All right, Dave. No problem. Take care.
We'll see you at the track next year, Great Lakes, or maybe I'm hoping to get the Cordova one too. So we'll see though.
Yeah. Come on out. We'll like you out there. Thank you.
You have a great night and a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, buddy.
Yep. Merry Christmas. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.